Alright, so I just got my new security camera in, and this is by Hikvision. This is part of their DarkFighter series. And what this is the DS-2CD2385G1. Now, the G1 is the important designation here because that's what designates that it's part of their DarkFighter series of cameras. And if you're not familiar with their DarkFighter series, it's amazing at how much detail these cameras have at night, even without the infrared. So now I've got another camera that I'm putting this one in place of. It's another Hikvision, and it's not part of the DarkFighter series, and it's the same part number, but it's FWD instead of G1. So this is their G1 series, and it's a POE camera, meaning power over Ethernet. All you have to do, as long as you have the right switch, a POE switch, is it's powered 100% through the Ethernet cord. So I will not be using this power cord right here. This plug that's on the end will stay in there. I'll just plug it into the Ethernet cable, and that's going to power the camera and do the video streaming and everything all through the Ethernet. So it uses the regular an Ethernet cable. RJ45 is an 8-wire cable, and the data uses 4 of those wires. Well, someone came up with the idea to utilize the other 4 as power wires. So it uses 2 of them as power, the other 2 for the ground, and by doing that, it's able to carry enough current to where you can have things operate off of it. All I've ever seen is cameras operate off of it, but there may be other things that a POE switch is able to power. These are made for outdoors, so they're waterproof, very robust, very durable. This is all aluminum housing. This part's aluminum. The housing here is aluminum. The base is aluminum. They are powder coated. It is not a motorized gimbaled camera. So once you get this set to where you want it and you tighten it down, that's where it's set. They do have the I forget what they call them, but where they transition. But basically, I've already taken this out of the box, as you can see. I wasn't going to do a video, and then I decided, it'd be nice to see different cameras compared to other cameras. So what you get in the box, you get a little Torx wrench, and that looks like a tamper-proof. I don't know if you can see the hole in that. Here, let me take it out. Two different sizes, so I guess there's 2 different sizes on this camera. I don't know. That ring snaps off. That's covering it up. This is a weather pack connector that goes over this part right here, and whenever it tightens down, it provides a weather seal. Of course, you get your screws, you get you some desiccant, and you get a template. And believe it or not, the it's a real nice template. So you can hold up to wherever you need to hold it. It's got a little spot right here for the cord, wherever the cord is going to be coming out. And then, you pick up your holes, and then you're good to go. Hopefully that other camera, I think it's got the same exact base, so hopefully we're not going to have to drill any new holes, but if we do, we got us a template to do that. But what I want to show is right now, so it's about 7/16. That's the view that this camera is taking place of. So this particular camera right here is the 2CD2385FWD. And it's a great camera. It's also a Hikvision. It is a great camera, but the DarkFighter series is better. If you look right out here on this corner area, you can't see it in this picture, but I've got one of these G1s on this corner that shows both these streets right here, so I can see traffic coming up and see people walking down the sidewalk and stuff. And I was just amazed when I bought the G1 at how much more detail at night without lights I was still able to get using that G1. And at night, and I'm going to show you the difference of a night view of this area right here that we're looking at. Once it gets dark enough to go into night mode, we're going to take a look to see how dark it is with the FWD camera and how dark it is with the G1, or rather how light it is with the how much more lighter it is with the G1. The FWD, you know, right here at the trucks, it's lit up really nice with the FWD. But once you get out here, it gets dark to where if there was actually someone walking around kind of back toward the back of the driveway here, or over here in my yard, or over here in the side yard, you don't really recognize them. You know, you couldn't see enough detail to really tell who was who. So I'm hoping that the DarkFighter G1 series camera is going to be able to light this up a lot more. So I'm going to go out there right now. I'm going to swap this camera, and now the dark video that I show will be from either yesterday or it'll be within the last week or so, whatever footage I've got on the memory card. So I'm going to just extract one of those clips off of the memory card and kind of give you an idea of how dark it is on that camera. But so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to go swap these cameras out, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to see the difference between what we're looking at here. And just before I close this up, so I got the memory card installed, and then I just want you to see you've got a couple connectors. Well, you've got one connector, then you got a little switch. I think that's a reset switch. Of course, this is also a hermetically sealed cover. Got a nice thick rubber seal on that. And yeah, you got a reset switch in there, and you got a connector. I believe that's for audio, for an external speaker. And then you got your slot for your memory card that goes right there. And I've just got the camera, as you can see, taken apart to that point. So I want to put this back together. Just before I shut this back up, I wanted you to see that connector and reset button. And you can see the physical differences between this one and the G1 series. You know, this has got two. You just got one for the lens, the lens, and then one for the IR light. And to get these off, you got this ring. You just turn it, and it unsnaps. Now this one's got a Phillips, so I've got to get a Phillips. I'm just going to unscrew that, and this thing will come down. Now all you do is loosen this. You don't have to unscrew that all the way, and then this little piece of metal will be able to be slid to where you can drop the camera down. Got to work at it just a little bit, but it will happen. Let me reposition my screwdriver here. Okay, that easy. See, no power connected to that. All I've got is just the RJ45 connected. This is all aluminum. The base is nice and heavy duty. And this base is different than the G1, so I'm going to have to change the base out. So I'm going to get the new base put up there, and I'll show you how easy it is to put the G1 and install it. Okay, so this base is slightly larger, so I'm not going to be able to use the 3 previous holes, but I am going to pick one of them up. That way I don't have to put a hole in my, I'm only going to have to put 2 additional holes in my house here. I'm going to try to let you see this. It's not that big of a deal. You know what, I'm going to zoom in as much as I can. I'm going to try to do this without dropping the camera. The camera's barely balanced where it's at. That looks like it'd be good there. That's all there is to that. Let me go grab the camera. Now this is what's nice about the DarkFighter series. Now like I said, you do have that waterproof deal that goes around there. I don't use it on this because it is in a watertight area. And then now I've still got to aim this exactly where I want it. I'm going to get my phone and I'm going to stream to this, and I'll have my phone here so I can aim this exactly where I want it. And then I'll tighten this up. This little collar right here just goes on, rotates just probably a quarter of a turn, half a turn, and it locks it on, closes all that out. And as far as installing it, that's it. So let me go get my phone and get this adjusted. I'm going to get this all put back together. You guys have probably seen enough of that, and then we'll go in and see how it looks. Okay, there's the new driveway cam, which is the G1 series. I can already tell that it's more crisp and sharp and detailed. See, the garage door was shut on the last one, so we'll shut it here just to make sure that the exposure and everything is. I haven't set any of the settings as far as the exposure. You know, you can tweak the lightness and darkness and the exposure and all that to get you what you want. The WDR, you can play with it, turn it on and off, but normally I just leave it off. But so there's the. It is a little bit later. Also, it's about 7:55 now, so about a half hour or 35 minutes has passed. Whenever it goes into dark mode, night mode, I'll pull some footage off of the old one, and we will compare it and see what it's like. And you'll be amazed, I think. If this is as good as the one that's out there in the corner of the house, it's going to be a night and day difference. So anyway, we'll be back whenever I get to that point. Okay, so it's dark. We're out here in the driveway. There's the trucks. Camera's up there on the eave. I'm going to turn these lights out just to show you how dark it is. Across the street you can see a street light, and I'll show you why that's important here in a minute. Lights are out. Window to the office. Trucks are right here. You can't hardly see them. I'm on the GoPro. I've got it set to auto. That street light that you barely see over there is across the street. Again, here's the trucks. So on the GoPro, you see how dark it is. So now I'm going to turn the camera off. We're going to go inside. I'm going to show you how the DarkFighter Series G1 Hikvision camera lights all this up. Now notice, let's go over here just so you'll see. That's the window to my office. You can't see it, but I'm pointing the camera straight at that Hikvision camera. There is absolutely zero lights on that camera that you can see. As far as there's no infrared light that you can see, you know, no dim red light or anything. So let me go in and turn the camera on. So here's the camera. You can clearly see both trucks. You can see how bright the light is across the street, even though it was very, very faint on the GoPro. You actually see a shadow casted right here by the tire from the light that's across the street. You can see the brick on the house. You can see all the way across here in the neighbor's driveway. You can see the mailbox. You can see across the street. You can see the house across the street, the car across the street. You can literally see all the way down the block. You can see all these cars down the block. It's just amazing how lit up the scene is by this camera. And I'll show you the view of the other camera too. This is the one that I just put up, obviously. And I think there's a car. I thought there was a car coming down. I was going to show what it looks like driving by, but yeah. No, it's going down the other road. You even see the fire hydrant across the street. Right here. See the leaves on the trees? I mean, just that little. Now, this street light is one of those dimly lit street lights to give off low light pollution. So even though it looks like in this picture that is very, very bright and it's casting a lot of light, I showed you with the GoPro how little light it actually puts out. It's just enough to where you can, you know, when you're walking around the block, you can see where you're going, or if you're driving. So it just, I mean, look how lit up the trucks are right here in the driveway. Let me go. I'm going to turn the porch lights on now. It actually went to color. So even with the porch lights on, the camera is able to produce color video just with the porch lights turned on. So, you know, see how it auto adjusted. Now that light's not near as bright. You can see more up close now than you can far away. But I'll turn the lights off now. It's just amazing to me how dark it can be outside, but yet this camera is able to pick up detail that you can see. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this one, and I'm going to fire up the camera that's out here on the corner, which is also another G1 camera. Now remember when I was out there with the GoPro how dark it was. I mean, you literally couldn't see the driveway. You couldn't see the street. Now you can see all the way across the street, there's the fire hydrant. You can see all the way down here. In fact, there's a street light down here on this corner, and you can see how lit up it is right here. You can see the cars 2 houses down. Anyway, I will pull some video from the other camera before I took it down of what it looks like whenever it was up, what its dark scene looked like right here in this same area. And we'll compare what the FWD, which is not a DarkFighter series camera, versus the G1, which is a DarkFighter series camera, looks like. But the thing to really notice here is how much of a shadow the light across the street is casting right here off of the tires of this truck. And if I walked out there right now, it would be totally dark right here in this area. So anyway, you guys take care. Okay, so this is my driveway again. Both the trucks are parked out front. I just wanted to show you, I forgot to show you the difference between the IR light being on, the IR light being off. And so it's off right now. So I'm gonna turn the IR light on, and we're going to see what the difference is. So the light's off. The only illumination is from the light across the street. And now the IR light is turned on, which in this particular case is a lot better. So I'm going to leave the IR light on, and the IR light it automatically comes on whenever it switches to nighttime mode. In the daylight, of course, the IR light's off. And the nice thing about it is you can't see the IR light whenever on this particular camera whenever you're looking at it. So again, let me go ahead and I'm going to turn the IR light off. Give it a little bit to auto adjust. And there's also you got WDR. What's the other ones? Hold on a second. WDR, BLC, and HLC that you can play around with also. But for this particular camera and where it's located, I'm going to go ahead and turn the IR light on. And the way you do that, let me come over here to this screen. So right here under maintenance, you go over here to system service, and you got hardware, you got enable IR light, and you can enable that. It's also got a third stream if you want it, but I don't even use the second stream. So, but you got to remember, whenever you check this box, you've got to click save, which is what I'm about to do. Let me show you the change again. Just click save. IR light just came on. So the IR light obviously illuminates the trucks and the driveway a lot better, and because of that, it also auto exposes the rest of the scene behind, so this light here doesn't overexpose the picture. Now, with that said, let me show you. So I'm going to go over here to this street cam, what I call the street cam, which is the other camera pointing out. It's on the corner of my house showing my front yard, my neighbor's yard. This is my neighbor's truck or a friend of his. And I'm going to show you the difference between the IR light on and the IR light off on this camera. Right now the IR light is off on this camera. The only light is coming from the street light. So I'm going to turn the let me get all fixed up here. So I'm going to turn the IR light on, and pay attention to the background. These bushes, this area here, in the front yard, of course, in the driveway. So, right here in this area is more lit up. So if there was someone standing right here, it'd probably be beneficial to have the IR light on. But all back here, especially back in here, it's gotten darker. So again, let me turn it off. Watch how it lights up the back. This is with it off. It's still nice and bright right here. So if someone was still standing here in the driveway or the front yard, I'd still be able to see them with no problem. But I'm able to see all along the sidewalk, across the street, and over even in my neighbor's yard, 2 houses over. I can see their yard pretty clear. So I can see if someone was trying to get in their car 2 houses over. I can see all the way down the street. And let me do that again. This is going to be with the IR light on, so you can just see what the differences are. So of course, on this side of the street, it's still pretty clear, but it's gotten a lot darker right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that. So I leave this light off. To me, this is the light off on this camera works a lot better. But I just wanted to show you the difference between both cameras. They're both G1 cameras. They're both the same identical camera. And I just want to show you the difference between the IR light being on versus off. So now to the next.